Denise. It's Friday morning, and I'm in my other studio down at Liberty Station with the 5 Art Group. And if you remember last week, I finished this piece, and it was in my blog last week. I talked about it and showed some steps on making it. But one of the cool things that I want to share with you, especially if you're an artist and you paint and you don't like to waste your paint, I'm going to talk to you about the wingman. This was my wingman. Let me get him up close. That I created while painting this. Typically when I'm painting, you get a lot of paint on your brush, and I hate to just waste it. So I'll have a canvas over here to the side that I just wipe my brush off on. This time I put a blank canvas on my easel next to this painting while I was working on it. And as I cleaned off my brush, I just brushed color onto this canvas. I really didn't have a plan to start with. I didn't plan this to turn out like anything. I just did my purples and greens and sketched them on and just brushed. And then when it came time to keep playing with my yellows, I just took my brush, cleaned it off, and actually kind of had fun doing it. And look what I created. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off. This painting could be done as it is, as a nice little impressionistic floral of a field of flowers, but I'm adding a little bit more detail to it. But mainly I wanted to just show you how easy it is to create another painting with your leftover paint, one that's gonna look good on the wall with the original painting, and it's a great little pro tip from the art studio of Denise Cerro. So let me move forward and work on this. I may speed it up because we've got airplanes going overhead in this studio. We're by the airport, so sometimes it's hard to create a video through that. But anyway, let's do it. Okay, so as I said, this piece could be finished as it is, but I'd like to play with it a little bit more because after all, I am a mixed media artist. So I made some colored papers yesterday, a whole stream of colored papers just out of this painter's roll of paper. It's a big roll, get it at Home Depot or at a hardware store. It's pretty inexpensive, but it's great to just add colored paint on. So I took this, and I'd already made yellow without even thinking of this piece, and I ripped out some of the pieces off of the paper, and I am just going to add them kind of randomly, just to add a little bit of dimension and to this piece. And I have no real big plan with these. I just think it'll be a little bit helpful because I don't really want it to look exactly like a representational painting or like an impressionistic painting, because that's the way I used to paint. And I really embraced being a mixed media artist, so I can't resist adding papers. And if you follow my work, you can kind of pretty much tell that that's the scoop. I have my bowl scraper that I like to go back and smooth out my papers and get the air bubbles and the little ripples out while I can. Although sometimes those little ripples are kind of nice. Let's see, where do we want to add this one? I'm not sure I want that one yet. I don't want to get too carried away with these. Maybe right there is perfect for that one. And I always like to go back and check the papers I already laid down and make sure they're not getting too ripply. I might not be using that one, but I could use this one. Using a bowl scraper is also a great way to save on your medium. See, that's perfect right up there. Okay, now I've got to find somewhere to put these little orange pieces, or maybe not. Maybe I just want to keep this more on the yellow side, and I can just keep tearing off little pieces. And this doesn't mean that I can't go in and add more paint if I like, but I do like this subtle color. It's not a hit you in the face yellow. I like it. Let's see, let's take this guy right off the edge. Even though this is a thin canvas, it's a 1-inch canvas, I will have to frame this somehow. Right now, that's all I'm gonna add. I think that's enough. As I said, I don't wanna get carried away. You know, do I need one down in here? Ooh, that might not be bad. Just a little piece of yellow to go with it, so it ties in. And you know what? Who knows what kind of flowers these are? It doesn't really matter. They could be daffodils, they could be poppies. I don't know if there is such thing as a yellow poppy. Let me get one more in here. There we go. I think that's going to be enough. Okay, so now I've mixed up a little bit of this light lavender using light ultramarine, a little bit of red violet, and some unbleached titanium. And I just want to go in and kind of define these back areas a little bit better. I'm painting around the flowers, which is negative painting, and it helps bring those flowers out a little bit more. I don't want to get too heavy-handed with this. But I do like my canvas to be a little bit more covered than what I have going on here. Have a little bit more paint on it. So I'm just going back and filling in some of these spaces. Create some nice definition. And I don't want to do it all with the same color, because your horizon, as you go up, your sky lightens up a little bit. So as I go along on my palette, I add a little bit more white or titanium, whichever the case may be, and lighten it up a little bit. Now again, these flowers don't have to have any particular definition. They don't have to look like a daffodil or, you know, as I said, whatever flower, unless you want them to, then you can make that happen. But right now, I just want to put a nice pretty skyline in. Cover up some of my blank canvas. and just nice, light, loose brush strokes. You can hear the airplanes going by overhead. Our studio at 5 Art in Liberty Station is right next to the San Diego airport. And as a matter of fact, we can look at our window right at the runway, which is kind of fun. It's kind of different, but it makes it a little bit more challenging to do a video. So I just want to go in and model up some of this. And I do like to create stems by painting around dark things instead of painting a stem in. And leave it nice and loose. As you can see, it's easy to get carried away and just dance around in the background. But I think I like that. Okay. Once I got my sky in, then I went back in, mixed up some purple and some different greens, and started with darks and just stroked in some blades of leaves and stems, and I went from dark and lightened them up as I went forward just to create a little bit of depth in the greenery underneath the yellow flowers. Okay, and now just to mix media it up a little bit, I'm taking a couple of my woodies, water soluble, and I just want to sketch this in a little bit. Maybe a little bit of a lighter color. Let me get this up on the edge. And sometimes I just like to add in something that's totally unrelated. Aqua looks really great with these colors. And I'm just scribbling. I'm also going to add a few little scribbles up here. Now these are water soluble. I could be doing these just as easily with my oil pastels. Which might be a nice little switch. I do have, let's see, these are my oil pastels. Let me see, where do I want to go with this? Let's see the color. Color's a little bit, the color selection I have here is not so great. Let's see what this color is. That, oh, that's kind of light. I'm not wild about yellows. Let's see if this one works. I think I'm actually doing better with my woodies. kind of like that. I don't need to do a lot. Just scribble in a little bit. I like that. Pop that out a little. Okay. I'm calling that done. I really love how this turned out, and this was my wingman. This was just cleaning off my brush. This all started cleaning off my brush, and you can see how little it took to bring it around to a painting. So don't waste your paint. Get a wingman, get a painting started while you're working on another piece, and it's pretty fun. So if you enjoy this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get all of my updates whenever I post a video, which is trying to be once a week. And mainly, thanks so much for watching. Really, really appreciate you being here. Thank you.